Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you with a video today, a video that's going to be a little bit different. As you guys know that follow the channel regularly, when I go out on my shopping expeditions, whether it's for groceries or for books, doesn't matter, I am always on the lookout for Hot Wheels. And so I always try to show you the new Hot Wheels I get for my little collection. And I had a request. Scott over at Bookish Bryants had requested that I do a Hot Wheels video. And so I thought maybe I would do that today. Now, keep in mind, this is definitely not the entire collection. I have a ton of these, and they are up in totes, packing totes upstairs. And I will try to continue these videos. Maybe I can try to do them like once a month or something. I know at the end of the month, when we go to get Christmas stuff out, that tote that has my Hot Wheels in it will be unburied. It's covered in Christmas totes right at the moment, but I will maybe make another video or two dealing with nothing but Hot Wheels, because I know there's quite a few out there that like these. I know I have a book channel, but I do have other interests as well. And so, if I want to, I probably ought to tell you a little background behind my Hot Wheels collection and why I started collecting these. It goes back to when I was really, really little. My family did not have a lot of money. We had next to nothing, basically. And my father actually worked on a trash route. And while he was on his trash route, he would always find toys in the trash, or that would, they're about ready to be put in the dump. And he would always try to gather those up. And then he would bring those home and he'd fix them up for us. And then we had brand new toys. Well, for us, it was brand new. And, we did not have a lot of toys at home. None of our stuff, hardly any of our stuff was new because we just couldn't afford it. And so when we lived out in the country, we had a pretty awesome Tonka truck, the big yellow Tonka trucks that were actually made of metal, not like they are today. Today a lot of them are made of plastic, but ours were the actual metal, the real deal. And I can remember him bringing those home, and that was absolutely awesome because out in our yard, we had basically a big dirt hole or a big mud hole that my little brother and I used to play in. And we'd get those Tonka trucks, and we were definitely dirt movers with our trucks. And we had all kinds of them. We had just the regular dump truck. We had the excavators, the one with the big arm. You had the bulldozer. We had the road grader. We had all kinds of these trucks. And then I remember we had this great big old long 18-wheeler that we had somehow acquired. And I'm guessing we either got it at a garage sale or Dad found it. But we had some big trucks like that when my little brother and I we were probably about 4 or 5, and that was absolutely delightful. We absolutely loved to play outside and play with those trucks and go get dirty and all that kind of stuff. And even to this day, if I had room in my house, I would probably have a collection of those. But my wife is a minimalist, as I've told you before, and so I really can't do that. She would not be happy with me. So I have settled for, and I say settled, I'm okay with this, but I've settled for collecting Hot Wheels because they're smaller, they're easier to put away and kind of hide them when company's over. But anyway, and I do vow that someday when I get rich, I am going to have a toy room where I have got my Hot Wheels and my old G.I. Joes and all that kind of stuff. But until that day, I usually keep them either on a shelf upstairs with my bookshelves, or I have them just put away in a box. But I enjoy looking at my Hot Wheels. So to continue that story along, we had moved into town because we did live out in the country when we had all those Tonka trucks. And when we moved into town, my dad had put together this really awesome city. He found, again, in the trash, he found a couple of old, folding tables, card tables. and he had sturdied up the legs, because I think that was the part that was broke, and he actually put them over. We had this big white house that was in town, and he had put them along one of the walls, and one table was taller than the other, but he put these over there. And of course, us not having a lot of money, our summer dessert was popsicle sticks, as many of you will probably fondly remember. We had popsicle sticks, and we ate popsicle sticks or popsicles, not the sticks, but the popsicles all the time. And we always saved those sticks, and we'd wash them up and clean them up. And then we had kind of a big old pile in the middle of that card table that he would put them in. And when we had enough of them, my dad went and took those popsicle sticks and then glued them all together and made buildings all over these couple card tables that he had put together. And he made these buildings, and he actually created for us an entire city. And he even had to build a bridge, because one table was taller than the other. He had to build a bridge that connected the two parts of the city. And it was absolutely awesome. And my dad was always doing fixer-up stuff around the house, because we couldn't afford to hire anyone. So he would have black electrical tape, and he taped out all the roadways. He had the buildings all in place. He had parking garages, homes. He had the grocery store. He had all of the things that you would have in a town. And he did this all on these two big old tables that he had found. And like I said, he had fixed up the legs so that they wouldn't collapse. But from that point on, my dad, every time he found a Hot Wheel in the trash, he would bring it home. We'd scrub it up, clean it up, and we had a new vehicle for our town. And so, living on the cheap here, my little brother and I had a wonderful, wonderful world of Hot Wheels. And so that is really why I collect today. It's probably why I collect today. I just have very fond memories of Hot Wheels, and they're so much fun. And I've been able to share that with my 18-year-old who's moved out of the house now. She liked playing with them, and my 4-year-old really likes playing with them. She has a whole collection of her own. And so I've been able to pass that love on to them. And we even found, like at garage sales, we found like a big city thing that has roadways, and we found another thing that had a whole bunch of roadways that snap together. And so we're able to, when we get that stuff out, we could create an entire city across the living room floor, and we just have a blast with that. And so that's really kind of the background behind my collecting of cars. So let me show you a few of them. I'm going to save the best for last, or my favorites anyway. Well, I guess these are all my favorites because I don't buy things I don't like, but I particularly like muscle cars. And so from the 60s, 70s, and I like old cars. So there you go. There's a 71 Plymouth GTX. That was one of my latest buys. I think I probably showed you that one. Here is a 47 Chevy that I had gotten. And when I got adopted, my dad had one of these trucks. It was almost identical. It might not have been the exact same year, but it was almost identical to this style. And so that was really cool when I found this. And that's one of the things I want to try to find is more pickups that I like. I like pickup trucks. I like to drive pickup trucks, but I don't have a ton of them in my collection. But anyway, here's a 68 Plymouth Barracuda, another one of my latest finds. And all of these are brand new ones over the last couple of years. My older ones I'll show in the next Hot Wheels video in, like I said, about a month or so. The ones that are not in the package, and then you won't have to deal with the shine. Here is the Evil Twin. I don't even know why. I don't remember if this was one my daughter bought me or if I found it and I just thought it was kind of cool. But anyway, kind of a neat car. When I was little, we lived in the era of the Ghostbusters of the 1980s, right? And so when I saw this not that long ago, I pointed it out and I was like, I gotta have that. And my wife told me just to wait. And so last year for Christmas, my daughters bought me Ghostbusters Ecto 1. And so that was really cool because that's like a, exact replica. Here is 56 Jaguar XK 140 Roadster. It looks like something, it reminded me of like a James Bond movie. And I like James Bond. So There's that one. This is a newer muscle. It's called Muscle and Blown, and I just thought it was really cool looking. I don't know if I had any other particular reason. Just a muscle car. Reminded me a little bit of you know, like a Mustang or a Camaro or something like that. Here's a Porsche 356 Outlaw. I like that one. Well, I like all of these. I guess I don't need to say that every single time. But here is, please remember that in the 1980s, it was also the start of the Batman franchise as far as the modern day movies, and you know, like with Michael Keaton and stuff. And so this is one of the modern day movies, Batmobiles. I thought that was pretty sweet. And I have another one. It's not in this stack. I'll show you in another video. But really cool stuff. All right, here is a 62 Mercedes-Benz 220 SE sedan. It was a racing car. So that one was pretty awesome. Here's a 68 Shelby GT 500. And eventually, you know, when I get my man room, my toy room, I will open these up. I'm not looking to resell them. I don't think I would get any money out of them. I'm not that patient. But, you know, eventually I'd like to open these up, and I would really like to try to build a replica of what we did when I was a kid. I think that would be probably the best finishing touches on just on remembrance stuff. So this is a 52 Hudson Hornet. Pretty awesome car. Sorry about that shine. Again, next video, there won't be so much shine. Here's a Jeep Willys. So I don't own too many Jeeps. I thought that was really cool. Here is a 1970 Ford Capri. Or Capri. Again, I'm not a car guy. And maybe I should tell you about that. My dad, my biological father, he was a car nut. And he didn't have any formal training, but we never took anything to the shop to get, you know, to have to pay for something to get fixed. I can remember sitting there watching him work on cars, and he would want me to help him. Now, I will say that I probably put up a wall on that just because of stuff that happened when we were kids. You know, and we ended up getting pulled out of the house and got adopted, and it went through foster care and got adopted and all that kind of stuff. So I think, you know, I've got some memories that are hard to process, and so I honestly think I probably have a wall built up about dealing with cars, because I can't fix a car to save my life. I can change my oil if I have to, but I prefer just to go pay somebody to do it. And I think it probably goes back to that time period, but by the same token, that love of cars was passed down through these Hot Wheels. So anyway, moving along, we'll get to my favorite of my cars. I have a Mustang collection. I love Mustangs, especially from the 1960s. I like 1970s as well. The 1980s were cruel. They were cruel to the Mustang. They were ugly. But anyway, I really like the 60s and into the 70s Mustangs. And so was it my first car? Yeah, it was may have been my very first car. I can't remember if my first or second car that I ever bought on my own was a 1965 Mustang. And I have an exact replica of it upstairs. And mine was midnight blue. This is cherry red. I've got actually two of them. This is one version of it, and you'll notice the hood pops up. That's kind of cool. And this one's a convertible. Mine was not a convertible. And the one that I have upstairs, and it was a little bit more expensive version. It wasn't like $1 like a lot of these. It's got the full top, and the doors open as well. And I'll have to show that to you in another video. Anyway, here's a 68 Ford Mustang Gtcs. This one looks a lot like my 65. Same style. Okay. Just a different year. Here's a 1970 Ford Mustang Mach 1, and this is one of my newest buys that I found. Just, I think a week ago I found that one. And this was a birthday gift from my daughter. This is a 69 Ford Mustang Boss 302, and it's got a retro rig carrying it. I thought this was absolutely awesome. And so that's going to be fun if I ever get that town I talked about. If I ever get that built, I'll make sure to have a garage, and this will be in there. Here's a 2018 Ford Mustang Convertible. Now, the new Mustangs kind of lose their character. I like them, but they don't hit me the same way as the old 60s and 70s Mustangs do. And then here is a 1967 Custom Mustang. Again, that one looks, well, no, that one does not look like my one I actually owned. So anyway, so those are just a handful of my Hot Wheels collection. Scott, I hope you like this. This was a video dedicated to you because you had said you wanted to see them. And now, Scott, I passed the torch on to you. I want to see your Hot Wheels. You said you would show yours if I showed mine. So that probably didn't sound right. But anyway, now you've got to show your Hot Wheels collection. And you know what? I invite everybody out there. Let's have some fun. I know it's BookTube and it's all about books. But let's have, some of these videos that don't have anything to do with books are just as fun. So let's have a run of Hot Wheel videos. Let's see what Hot Wheels you guys own out there, if you own any. I would have turned this into a book video. I don't remember if I mentioned this. I do have a Hot Wheels collector's guide that shows all of the early stuff. And it's upstairs somewhere. I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. But anyway, maybe I'll show that in the next one. So these are some of my Hot Wheels. I hope you guys enjoyed.